Install Oracle EBS. This is R12.1.1. I have an installation guide in front of you all. Go ahead and get right in it. This is the note from Oracle support that I used. And well, the biggest thing here is I am using a computer with 16 gigs. I'm only allocating 12 to this install and 4 to my computer. Both nodes have 6 gigs. The environment that we have is going to be an application node. Oracle is going to be the user, and well, I'm sorry, a database node. Oracle is going to be the user, and an application node. Apps is going to be the user. So we'll go ahead and get right into this. Well, I have installed the software from Oracle eDelivery on your host machine. I've already done that, and it's in this folder. You want to make sure that it's on your host machine. You also want to take a snapshot on both servers. I've already taken my snapshot on my database server. Here's the snapshot, and on my application server, here's the snapshot. So we already have that done. Let me change it back. Okay, both of them say current state. Okay, we want to disable the firewalls on both servers. And then we also want to edit the host files on both servers. I'm going to go ahead and do those on both servers. The reason why we want to do these two things is because you want to make sure that they're in communications. I'm also going to add my host file on my computer as well, just to make sure they're all talking to each other. So, alright. I'm signing in as root because you want to do this install as root. That allows you to be able to set, you know, Oracle for the database tier user and apps as the application user. If you don't use root, you will have to install this as one person, and we don't want that. We want to install using 2 people. As you can see, this is a new install, so I gotta configure my network. I'll do that first. Let's go to System, Preferences, Network Connections. Double click on it and connect automatically. Hit apply. Okay, so now I'll go disable the firewall. If you want to, you can just enable HTTPS and HTTP. But being that this is my home network and this is a home install, I don't really care. So that's disabled. And I also want to let's do IP ifconfig. Okay, it's .12, and my host name is oracletestdb.com. So I'm gonna go into my host file, and well, first I'm gonna add my host name and my host IP to my computer first, because I want to make sure all of them are in communication. That's .8. Okay, so now I will add the database server. Okay, and we don't know the application server yet, so we can't add it, but that's done. So now I want to come over and do the same thing on the application tier. Okay. Go to enable my firewall, or disable my firewall. Okay, that's done. Now we go to the terminal. Okay, 14. So make sure my host name is correct. It is. So VI to XC host name. XC host. So add my computer first. Okay, I'll add this computer. Now I'll add the database server. Okay, so now I need to add the application server here. Okay, so that's done. Now I want to add it on my host machine. You don't necessarily have to add it on your host machine, but I just tend to do it. I just don't want to run into any issues. So let's see, I think I'm already root. I am. So my computer is already here. Oracle Test DB, Oracle Test DB, OracleTestDB.com, and 192.168.1.14. Okay, Oracle Test App. So that's done. All those are done. So now I should be able to SSH into, let's see, root at OracleTestDB.com. Okay, I'm able to SSH into that PC. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and minimize these because we don't need them anymore. Alright, so now that I have that, let's go down to the next set of instruction, which is to install, well, first we have to update the public YUM file on both servers. So just gonna go ahead and copy this, wget paste. Okay, so actually I'm in the wrong location. Let me cd into etc public, repo. I need to slow down, so let me slow down a little bit. Yum.repo. Okay, and now VI, well, I copy it to the wrong place. Okay, should be okay now. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna VI into public, and what I'm gonna do, well, first I'm gonna search for 5. And here's 5. I'm gonna enable this. That's because we are on Oracle Linux 6.5. So I'm going to enable that. Then I'm going to go to the bottom of the file. What I want to do here is put one there. Make sure that's all I need to change. Yep. So 2 things we need to change there. And I'm also going to add this to the file. And right quick. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and begin to install my packages. Okay, I'm not going to copy the first portion because it's going to grab that dot, and I don't want to grab that dot. So I'll just type yum, paste, and do -y. Okay, it's telling me another application is using package kit. I could just kill it because it should not be. Okay, so now it's installing. Okay, I'm not going to go through all these install in the video because it's definitely going to take some time. So what I'll do is I will pause the video up until I'm done with yum update. I'll start here at LD config. So I'll let this do its thing and I'll be back shortly. I wanted to mention while this is running, for the most part, I'm only going to configure the database server for time. I'm only going to configure the database server, and we are going to add the users to the application server. But just for the purpose of this video, I'm only going to do the database server, and we'll just go from there. But everything you do on a database server, you have to do on the application. The only user you want on the database server is Oracle, and the only user you want on the application server is apps. So I will make sure we have that done. But for the most part, I'm only going to go through this stuff on the database tier just for time. So I'll wait until this get done and I'll be back. Okay, so yum update just completed. Now I'm just going to go ahead and run ld config -v. That shouldn't take long. It's done. So scroll down to what we have to do now. It says we're going to install guest editions, and we're going to share the folder on the VirtualBox. Right now, again, we're only going to do the database server. So what I'm going to do is go to the database server here, and I'm just going to click on it. Okay. So what we want to do is just come to devices. My mouse won't move. 1 second. See what's going on here. Okay, devices, insert guest additions. Okay, I don't think it's gonna work the first go around because we're more than likely gonna have to do a restart. So let's see. That's why I don't like using VirtualBox. Sometimes it just acts funny. So okay, it failed. So what this tells me is we need to reboot. So it's rebooting now. It's coming back up. Okay, while this is running, you all see here I have that we have to add the VBox itself user to Oracle for the database server. We have to add it to root as well, and we have to add DBA to root because they were not done automatically. So we have to do it manually. And as you can see right here, they have the Apple Manager user and the Oracle user. The Oracle EBS package completed that. So cancel. We're going to go back in as root. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. It should work fine now. So it does take a second. Shouldn't be too much longer. Go ahead and open a terminal. Well, we don't need a terminal. Okay, it should get ready to just go through. It should be done in a few seconds. Okay, it's installed and we're done. So now we're finished here. So we're gonna come here and go back into root. Okay, if we do ID, as you can see right now, we have root. You don't see VBox itself. So if that's the case, we won't be able to use the shared file system. So the first thing we have to do is user mod -a -g VBox SF Oracle. We also want to do that for root as well. Okay, and we want to add DBA to the root user. Okay, so if we do ID now, still not there. So we may have to restart again. But what I'm going to do is go ahead, before we do another restart, I'm going to go ahead and put the shared folder here. Okay, that's the folder that I want to share. So I'm going to do auto mount and make permanent. Okay. So if we do media, it's not there. So we're definitely going to have to reboot one more time. I'll pause the video this time, but I'm going to go ahead and reboot. Okay, the PC is back on now. So, well, first, let's do ID. Okay, as you can see, now the VirtualBox SF group is there and the DBA group is there. So now we should be able to CD over to media, and there's the folder. So we're going to CD into SF, and we're there. The first thing we have to do is, well, you have to download a patch. If you haven't downloaded this patch, you're going to have to go to support.oracle.com and download this patch. I've already downloaded it, so I'm just going to go to where it's located. 607. Okay, so here's the patch, and basically all we're going to do with this patch is just copy it from one location to the next. So and we're going to copy it to user lab. Okay, one other thing that I've noticed with this installation is if your permissions are not set right, you're going to run into all kind of issues. So what I do is I just sort of leave everything open as far as my permission, and then when I'm done with the install, I go change my permissions back. So well, the first thing I have here is we're going to change the owner of that folder. we're going to change the owner to root, of course, and the group is going to be DBA. That way, Oracle can access this folder if he needs to as well. So we'll do this. This is going to take a second to run. And then here we're going to change the permissions to, so that everybody can access it. Okay. Not sure why it does that. Okay, so that's done. Okay, if you see here, basically we're just gonna link this. We have to unlink it first, and now we're just gonna come over here and make a soft link to this binary. Okay, so that's done. That's all that is basically. Okay, now we're gonna create the or instance dot load. Alright, and we're gonna change the permissions, but I don't want the permissions to be 775. That's fine, but for right now I want it to be 777. Okay, change the owner to Oracle DBA etc or install.loc for the database server. And now we're going to VI into that file. And what we're going to do is we're going to paste this right here, because this is where our or inventory is going to be located. So that's completed. Okay, now I have created a directory and change owner and permissions on home and temp folder. So we're going to cd to home Oracle ls here, make directory vis. So that's done. So now we're going to do change mod -r 777 home. Okay, now we're going to do change owner -r Oracle DBA home. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for the temp. Change mod -r 777 temp. And then we're going to do change owner -r root DBA temp. Another thing that I have, we just created, well, I don't have it here. We just created the Oracle user, so we need to change the password so that we'll be able to access it. Now add that to the guide, but you want to do password Oracle, and you want to change the password. Okay, so we have that taken care of. Alright, now I have delete the Apple Manager user on a database server. Okay, and we need to go ahead and create the apps user as well as the apps group on the application server. So let me go ahead and do that. This is the database server. See, it has that Apple Manager. We don't want Apple Manager, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. Oh, okay. Okay. So we are in, and like I said, we want to go to users, and what we're going to do is delete the Apple Manager. So we're just going to delete that because we don't need it anymore. Well, we will go and delete that folder as well because we don't need that folder. So what we're going to do is add user, and it's going to be, well, we don't need, I'm sorry, we don't need to add a user right here. We already have Oracle, and let me check on Oracle's group to make sure everything is fine here. He should be a part of the DBA group. He is. That's all we need. So, primary group. Let's see. Do I want to make it the DBA group? Yep. Don't have a Oracle group, which is crazy, but that's okay. We will set him as the primary group. That's fine. So, okay, that's done. And now we want to go to the application server. Okay. On the application server, we want to do the same thing. We want to go to administration, users and group. I don't think there's anything here yet. So what we want to do is, for the username, I'm just going to put apps, password. Okay. And that's fine. And for groups, I already have apps there. So we're done. That's going to allow us to do the install for the database tier. You'll see what I'm referring to later. Let's see this. SSH apps. Let's do root at oracletestapp.com. Okay, and password. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to say password apps. Well, password apps. I think I typed that incorrectly. Okay, so I want to CD to home, see what I have here. Okay, that's correct. And I think it's here that I want to, let's see, that's what I was looking for. I'm gonna delete the Apple Manager folder. We don't need it. Okay, so now we can go ahead and move on. We have everything set up the way it needs to be set up on a database application. Okay, the last command that we have to do is this move command. If you don't do this move command, you will run into this error here telling you that your unzip is the incorrect version. So here we're just gonna paste it, and we have to change that back. Okay, so now that that's done, I believe we are ready for our install. Yes, we are. It's my screenshots. So what we're gonna do is just exit out of here, and then we're gonna come back. But here you have to set X lunch. If you're on Windows, it's X lunch, and for me, I'm using a Mac, so it's gonna be -X. So, all right. So now that's done. So now all we have to do is go to the folder where the installation is, and it's gonna be in the Start CD. Disk 1 is going to be in Rapid Wiz, and now here you just run Rapid Wiz, and now our installation is about to begin. Okay, I'm gonna do next, next, next. I'm just gonna go through these because the screenshot tell you what all is going on. So here we're gonna create a new configuration. On the application tier, we're gonna load the following save configuration, but here we're just gonna do next. Okay, I'm gonna do 4. You never want to leave your ports to default, so I'm just gonna do 4 here. Okay, so now here's where you want to verify everything is correct. We are using the Vision Demo database, The name I'll see it will be Viz. Oracle Test DB is the the database server, and you want to make sure that says com. That's correct. And okay, the user is Oracle and the group is DBA. The base directory, we want to change this to home and then hit next. So everything should go through. If not, you didn't do something correct with your permissions. Okay, alright, for this one now, this is where we want to change some stuff. Okay, this is the application node. For the application node, we're going to do app.com. That's correct. And remember, we did apps, and our user is apps. Our group is apps. So this is right, and then you just want to hit next. If you didn't set that up somewhere, it's going to fill out. That's why we went back and did what we did on the application tier. So you want to just verify your database node, Oracle Test DB, and your primary apps node, Oracle Test App, and hit next. Okay, so now it's going to run pre-system checks. This is just going to basically let you know if the install is going to be fine, if your permissions were correct, and just if there's enough space, things of that nature. See, it's pinging, making sure everything is fine. Okay, we have 6 checks, which means we're golden. So we're going to hit next and just start the install. And as you can see, it's only telling you that it's going to do the database tier. It's not going to do the applications tier here. So, and as you can see, this is the version of the database that we're installing. We are going to upgrade that. So, well, not in this video, but I'm definitely going to upgrade that to the latest. So, I am going to hit next. Okay, the rapid install wizard is ready to install, and I'm going to go ahead and say yes. So it should start unzipping, and this is where, like I said, if you didn't do that move command, you're going to run into an error. It's going to tell you that you have the incorrect version of unzip. So being that it's already moving, we're good. What I normally do is I hit enter here and just tell -F into this file, and this way I can see what's going on, because this is going to take a long time. I think this is going to take about 5 hours. So I just sit this here and leave that here and just watch. While this is going on, also I'm going to go ahead and configure the applications tier. So that way, by the time this is done, the application tier is ready to go in install mode. I am going to leave this running. I will show some portions of the application setup. There's 1 or 2 things that we have to do that's going to be a little bit different. So I'll do that part. But I'm going to let this run for a few hours, and I will see you all soon. Okay, I just got home from work, you guys, and as you all can see, the database tier is done. If you look here, it says database availability and configuration uploads checks. So what we're going to do is go ahead and hit next. Okay, and we have this and we have finish. So we're done, and if you come over here, this says successful. So of course, if you want to go through the log, we can. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel out. We're done with that. So I did everything on the application tier. I did everything, just running everything that needed to be ran. So let's just jump right into this on the application tier. Just to let you know, I did delete the Apple Manager user as well as the Oracle user. The only user that we have is apps on the application tier. And we're ready to go ahead and start the installation. I I need to do this command. But before I do this, well, let's do this the right way. First thing I want to do, okay, so we did the database tier. I'm very into taking snapshots when you do stuff like this. That took a long time. I don't want to go back through that again. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a snapshot. And this is finished database. What I'm going to do, finish EBS DB. Okay, so that's finished. And let that do its thing right quick. I think it takes a few seconds. And while that's going, I want to go ahead and change this command back. So, what we will do is we'll come here, and I'm just going to do move. Okay, it's not going to let me do it because it's saving it right quick. So, let me see, can I bring it up? Okay, it says saving. I believe it's done now. Okay, it's done. So, I'm going to move this back. So, move, is this my database tier? Says host is down. Let me log back into it. I apologize for these minor inconveniences. Alright, so move user bin unzip version 6. We want to move it back to user bin unzip. Enter. Okay, so that's done. So now that that's done, we can go ahead and run the installation on the application tier. There is one step that we need to do, and I can't remember where I had it at. So I guess we can go ahead and do that step. And what we need to do is we need to copy the configuration file from the database tier to the application tier. I thought I had it in my notes, but let me see. Let me make sure. I should have it in my notes. Database. Here we go. Okay, here it is right here. I did have it in here. And I have copy conf seed text from the temp directory from the database server to the temp directory on the application server. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to cd into temp. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find it's a file with a date on it. And I believe because we just finished the installation. I should have moved it before we finished the installation. So I'm going to pause the video to find out where the file is. I'll be right back. Okay, it was pretty easy to find it. I did the file command, and they moved it to the apps util directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd to this directory. CD, let's do this. CD home. Huh. Okay, I see why. Okay. Okay, so this is the file right here. So what I want to do is I want to copy that to the temp directory, right? So go back to the temp directory. I want to first see the permissions on that. It has read and read for group in the world. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that. Well, first change mod -R 777 C, well, CON, and change owner -R. Let's do Oracle DBA. Okay, and I think we should be okay with that. But what we're going to do is FSTP into root at oracletestapp.com. Yes. Put in your password. Okay, CD to temp. And then we want to put that file there. Okay, so that's done. We can exit out. Now if we go over to the application server, as you can see, it's there. So, okay, now we can go ahead and begin the installation. As you all see here, we have log out the session. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to log right back in. You want to make sure you set X lunch. Okay, so let's go to media. Where am I? Start, and then this and rapid. Now we haven't done a move command here, so we want to go ahead and execute that command. And it's move user bin unzip to user bin unzip version 6. Okay, that's done. Now we can go ahead and execute the command. Okay, so we're going to hit next here, next here, next here. Now here you want to say load the following configuration file. We put it in our temp directory. You can browse, but since I know where it is, and we're just going to do conlvis.txt. Hit next. Okay, so now it's doing this pre-checking. The application server is where I ran into a lot of errors installing, but I've been able to successfully get through them. And I have my errors listed for you all as well. As you all can see, we have our check marks. So we're going to hit next. And as you can see, it says applications. That's all we're doing is the applications. So we'll go ahead and hit next. And we want to say yes. Okay. Move these out the way. Put this over here. Okay, and it's unzipping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell -F on this log. This one does not take as long as the application tour takes. This takes about, if I remember correctly, for me it took anywhere from 1 hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours. This part is pretty fast, but the second step 2, it has like 1191 files that it has to go through, but it finishes up in about 1 hour and 30 minutes. So we're just gonna let it do its thing. We're gonna let it run, and I'll be back as soon as this is done, you guys. And this is it. We're almost done. When we come back, we can basically just start up Oracle EBS. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so basically it just completed with unzipping. So now it just ran 80 started up everything, and it's checking to make sure everything is coming up. It's doing the login page now. So far everything looks to be working fine, so I don't think, well, I don't have any doubts that this is gonna go through fine. And once this passes, we should get a completion letting us know that we can start up. So just waiting on this to pass. I didn't think this take that long, but let me go ahead and pause it because I'm not sure how long this takes. Okay, so as you all can see, it just popped up. It says that the page is responding, and we have our checks on everything again. This is our URL, so you know, you may want to copy it. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. What I'm gonna do is open up a browser, and I'm just gonna paste it in, hit enter. It's not coming up, and it should, so let me do it again. Okay, it says waiting at the bottom. It's probably gonna get that generic message about the page cannot be displayed. It should give that page anyways, and from there we can take care of that. I'm not sure why it's taking so long, but it should come up. Let me exit out of here. I think I know what it is. Let me hit next here, hit finish. Okay, that's what it is. It says unable to authenticate session. This is a good thing. It's telling me that because I need to clear my cache, and that's fine. I can fix this pretty easily. So just give me a second. You will get that message if your cache is not cleared. Gotta remember how to do it in Google. I think it's in advance. Yep, clear browsing data. And yep, cookies and cache. So let me clear that. It may take a while. It's been a long time since I cleared this, so it definitely may take a while. Just bear with me. And then I just noticed this says since the beginning of time. Oh, it didn't take that long. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just exit out and we'll do it again. Should come up. There we go. So as you all can see, it is up. So here is going to be sysadmin, and then I think the password is sysadmin as well. So go ahead and hit login. Not sure why it's running slow. It's definitely running a little bit slower than I would like for it to be running right now. Not sure if it's because this is the initial time or what, but yeah, it is running a little bit slow. Let's see. I wonder, do I have a lot of stuff running? I should not have, but just gonna let this log in. Not sure why it's running so slow right now. Can't hear my PC working away. And I don't have much running right now, so I'm not sure what this is about. Yeah, it's going way too slow for my taste. I'm actually gonna close this and reopen because that's just that's way too slow. I am not sure why this is running so slow. But it normally isn't this slow. I'm guessing that maybe I need to restart my computer. This is terribly slow. Okay. Let's see if this moves any faster. There we go. It moved a little bit faster that time. So, as you all can see, this is our 12.1.1. Not really a fan of our 12.1.1. So, my next task will be to upgrade the database. And the database is running on 11. I forget what it is. But let's see. It's just so you can see that it is up. Well, sorry. Let's do SU Oracle. Yeah, everything is running slow right now. And gonna restart this to refresh it. Okay. My profile isn't set right now. But let's see, DB. It's in apps. Nope, it's in tech. Okay, so it's 11.1.0.7. So I'm going to upgrade the database to 11.2.0.3 and then update applications to 12.1.3. So that's my installation guide to our 12.1.1. Hope you all enjoyed it. Stay blessed. And next video coming soon. Signing off, Oracle DBA Girl. Oh yeah, one more thing before we go. Forgot to take a screenshot of the application. You want to make sure you do that. And the last thing while that's running, if you go to the documentation, I think you all already have seen it. But one of the things I wanted to point out, I did put common errors that I ran into. I installed this thing a lot of times. And well, I did it for the purpose of seeing the different errors that I would run into. These are just the errors on the application server, but I also had a section where I received errors for just the database server, and they were there. Like I said, a lot of them stem from permissions. So if your permissions are okay and you went through everything in this guide, you should be okay. Okay. Signing off for real this time. Oracle DBA Girl. Y'all have a blessed night.